lot of mercs and creep camps are being used. I think that's probably... Oh, he does put a second lore up. Okay, never mind. But a lot of mercs being used because mercs are a great way to buff up your army without having to wait for a build time, and they're also generally better than tier 1 units. I'd rather have a level 4 berserker than archers. You know what I mean? Like, it's better than your tier 1 units, and it's available at tier 1. So it's just generally a good idea if you're running low on units. Say you lose... Ooh, he's gonna... This is pretty cool. Moon is gonna kill these 2 footmen with dryads. Yay, slow poison. Anyway, if you have a bad early game, you lose quite a few units. Mercs are always an option if you creep out the camp. Or you can do what Moon did. He didn't even actually creep out to get a wisp pull, which is pretty cool, but you gotta be pretty on top of things if you're gonna be able to do that. Okay, so like I was saying before, the human, if he's at tier 1 and he just has footmen and he doesn't have a lot of them, he's definitely fast exploiting. You can tell because the human in basically all matchups, he's going to expand sooner or later. Like, I haven't really seen a game where the human didn't expand, because they are pretty reliant on getting that late game army with some decent resources coming in. So by fast expanding, you're getting those resources as early as possible, and you can start banking for tier 3. But it's important that you have an expo up and towered, and I emphasize towers. It's important that you have it towered. Towers. Did I say that enough? One more time for good luck. Towers. Okay. You need to have your expo up and towered before you tech. Because if you don't, then nothing's stopping them from pushing your expo. If they're going to push your expo, you have nothing to do. You have nothing but footmen to defend it. And that's bad because footmen are pretty bad units. I'm not going to lie. Against a demon hunter and possibly a panda, even level 1, footmen are going to die. Especially with mercs in the mix and the archers. So they're going to die. You won't be able to defend off the push if you don't have towers up. So it's important that you get your expo towered up before you tech. Because if you tech during the tower... what am I trying to say? The expo push. That's if you tech during the expo push. They're going to kill all those peasants, and you are stuck with having just peasants in your base because you can't make more to go out and get some expos, or get another expo. I hope this is making sense. I really have no experience commentating L4 human, so this is kind of new for me. But I hope you guys enjoy the lack of white noise. I know that I do. It's on the downstairs computer, and it's a normal computer, so I like it a lot. Okay, so Moon picks up a creep camp, and this is an interesting decision by Moon. He's got an invuln pot, but the Mountain King already used a bolt on him, and he's got no more mana. So Moon decides to just stay there, and with the mercs, or with the creeps, jamming on his units, he decides to just sit there with red health and attack. Because there's really nothing that Infi could have done at that point. He already used the bolt, and Moon had an invuln pot. So he just decides to keep attacking and force a TP on Infi. Now, if Moon ran away, I guarantee you that Infi would have gotten that camp and level 2 on his Mountain King. Maybe level 2 on his Mountain King. I don't know, close to level 2 on his Mountain King. But since he forced that TP, he couldn't get those last 2 level 3 trolls. Whoa, that was a mouthful. Alright, I'm going to take a break for like 5 seconds from talking. Yes, so here we go. Okay, so Moon knows that Infi can't hurt his Demon Hunter, so he just decides to sit there in red health. And I think these kinds of decisions are just something you learn over time. I know any normal player would have gotten really, really iffy and scared, and he probably would have popped that invuln pot like right away. In which case, Infi probably would have just TP'd anyway because he had it was a creep jack, so the creeps were attacking his footies. Alright, so we got the level 5 panda. Level 3 panda, alright. And, Infi decides to push Moon's Expo because he knows he has one. If you're playing against a human, their advantage is having resource advantage over you, so they can keep pumping units and get bigger armies than you can, basically. That's the general idea. So what you want to do is you want to stay on par with their resource advantage. As soon as you see that expo going up, and if you try to push it and you can't take it down, you want to put your expo up and try to defend it as much as you can. So Moon TP's in, and pretty interesting, good amount of micro here. The haze fire going off, and then you see, what is it? Heal straws, that's it. And I don't know if Moon loses a unit. Yeah, he lost the Dryad. Okay. So, what you'll see, I think slow is just as gay on bears as it is on grunts and raiders. Like, slow hurts bears just as much as it hurts orc. So what Moon is doing is he's taking out all the sorceresses, getting the dryads on the sorceresses, and taking them out, while the bears A-click into the breakers. Now, I think breakers beat bears just because of the feedback. So what you really need against this army is you need a mix of dryads in there to help assist with the DPS against breakers, because bears versus breakers will win. I'm fairly positive. Fairly certain, I should say. And there the invuln pot goes off on the DH. Now, I actually didn't notice this the first time I watched it, but you can spell steal, apparently. Like, I'm sorry, what I mean by that is Moon popped the invuln pot, and then he rejuved with one of his bears, and almost instantly the rejuve was off. So you can still spell steal if the what's it called? Demon Hunter. I'm at a loss for words, guys. The Demon Hunter is invulnerable. There we go. So this area is actually where most of the game happens. You'll notice that since Infi brought a bunch of peasants, the panda is just going to town with Hazefire and getting a bunch of kills and leveling up. And Moon is being a very good micro player right now and not losing a lot of units. Maybe he has, I didn't really notice. Let's keep track from now on, okay? He's at 54 food. Okay, so the panda's at level 4, whereas the MK, which is Infi's second hero, is at level 2. So Moon definitely has a hero advantage right now, which is bad for Infi, because level 5 panda is very, very good, especially against human, which is why Mass Breakers is has become popular, especially against bears. If the Night Elf gets Dryads, you want to get some Morts and possibly some Sorceresses for slow on the bears, but Breakers are the way to go against bears. Level 5 on the Demon Hunter. Oh, good golly Moses. Alright, so you notice that Moon's still fighting for his expo. It's pretty much, it is game breaking at this point. Human units, well, casters, don't cost that much. So, Infi is able to pump them rather steadily. And whereas bears, they're kind of expensive. The last time I checked, I think they're like $255 per bear. That's just gold. I think it's like 40 lumber or something. I have no idea. I'm pulling these numbers out of my ass. But bears are semi-expensive. So yes, he's fighting as much as he can for the Tree of Life. Okay, so I think Moon's position right here, sorry, I was gathering my thoughts. I think Moon's position right here is pretty good. When Infi decided to chase the Demon Hunter a little bit, he got his casters out of position, and the Moon just wailed on him for a couple seconds, and a bunch of casters went down. So that was a micro mistake by Infi, but generally I think both players are playing pretty well. Moon's at 75 food, whereas Infi is at 62. So he's 68. My bad. 78 versus 68.